Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. You know who I am. It's Ingram Jones here, and welcome to another live chat. I haven't publicized or advertised this particular video simply because I'm aware there's boxing on tonight, but I believe this boxing is in Ireland, and I'm not there. I'm over here in London. So, hey, so that I'll probably watch the whole show tomorrow. So, seen the title of the video, and the video is called Things That Need to Happen in 2015 in Boxing. Where do we begin? Well, there's various fights that need to happen. You see, not too long ago, it was said that Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather would never fight. And I was of the belief system that they would fight. And way back, after I saw Manny Pacquiao in a commercial, a Foot Locker commercial, was at that point I said to myself, you know what, this fight's going to happen. And boxing fans said, no, this fight ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Well, as you all know, the fight came and it went. And if the pound for pound number one and the pound for pound number two can get together and fight, there is no excuses that any fight in the world cannot happen. No excuses. You've had Lewis and Tyson, two total TV network, different networks coming together. You've had now Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. They're coming together. If the fight is worth it, it can happen. There's no doubt it can happen. And so, for example, this is what has to happen. Stevenson and Kovalev need to fight so we can determine with ourselves who the best light heavyweight champion of the world is. We can debate and say Kovalev, we can debate and say Stevenson, but they just both need to get in the ring, Kovalev, Stevenson, and find out who the number one, the undisputed light heavyweight champion is. As a matter of fact, yeah, that's what needs to happen. One. Two. Um, Amir Khan versus Kell Brook. This fight has to happen for Amir Khan's legacy as a British fighter. He needs to clean up some business and mess at home. You know, one thing I admire about Lennox Lewis is that he cleaned up at home. So there was nobody at home saying to him, you ain't the best in Britain. He cleaned up British, Commonwealth, European, and then world honors. He cleaned up everyone in Britain. So nobody was shouting off their mouth and saying, I want to fight you. Lewis fought everybody that was around in the British division, you know. And the losses that he had, he came back and avenged them. So for Amir Khan, two things I'd like to see for him in his career now is to fight Kell Brook and to avenge losses to Breach Prescott and to Danny Garcia. More so Danny Garcia, because if he were to beat Danny Garcia at welterweight, it would make a statement. But is he going to do that? Who knows? So that's what I'd like to see there. But is it going to happen? Unlikely. Amir Khan is going to continue saying that how if Mayweather doesn't fight him, his legacy won't be the same. What? This is a guy that's been knocked up by Danny Garcia, knocked up by Breach Prescott. PEDs or not, Peterson gave him a hard run. Now, the excuse for the Algieri fight, man, if you cannot handle Algieri, man, he made Algieri look like Rocky Marciano. You know, Algieri is a good fighter, but he's not elite. Come on, he's not elite. He's not elite. And if you're struggling against Algieri, then put it in perspective, and you're getting rocked by Algieri, who's got a handful of knockouts. Then you think to yourself, a Keith Thurman now, and you call out a Keith Thurman. Don't get it. I don't understand it. So to me, if Amir Khan fans can justify him not fighting Kell Brook when the man is calling him out just for just pure pride, clean it up, sort it out, clean up that thing. Because if Amir Khan wants to talk about legacy and people talking about legacies, maybe he needs to look a little closer to home. What is Amir Khan's legacy going to be like when he retires? That he ducked Kell Brook? Can he live with that? Can he walk around the streets of Bolton knowing that there was a guy called Kell Brook just up the road they didn't fight? What sort of a legacy does that leave behind? I mean, if it's not about belts, then what is it about? Money? I mean, so you want to fight Floyd Mayweather. So why do you want to fight Floyd Mayweather? He's pound for pound #1. But don't you have to fight somebody legit to justify you shooting your mouth off at welterweight? Well, I mean, who legit have you beat at welterweight? Let's think about this now. Devin Alexander, Chris Algieri. Are they the sort of fights that people can say, wow, he definitely deserves that Mayweather fight? You don't. I mean, based on the Chris Algieri fight, if that was meant to be the last examination, the last viewing, the last showcasing of your talents against Chris Algieri, and you struggling with Chris Algieri, and you get rocked by Chris Algieri, no wonder you don't want to fight Kell Brook. Because, you know, you look at Kell Brook's physically stronger, punches a hell of a lot harder. Yes, speed's one thing, but timing is another. And Kell Brook's got one thing I got to say about Kell Brook. Although he's a bit flat-footed, he has got excellent timing, physically very strong at welterweight. And I don't know if Amir Khan's actually fought anybody physically very strong at welterweight. You couldn't say Devin Alexander was physically strong at welterweight, or Collazo, or, you know, Algieri. So that's another thing we need to look at here. So all these people jumping around, Amir Khan should fight Mayweather. I'm sorry, you know, I don't see it. Personally, I don't see it. It's not about being a fanboy. It's not about not hating Khan. It's just I don't see what the fuss is all about. And then when Mayweather lays him out, knocks him out, or puts a beating on him, then what you going to say afterwards? I don't get it. I don't understand it. There's no point. Pacquiao's fast. Pacquiao's got faster hand speed, hits hard at welterweight. I mean, who was Amir Khan knocked out at welterweight? So you'd say he's got a puncher's chance. He couldn't even knock Algieri down once. Pacquiao knocked Algieri down 6 times. How does that equate to you beating Floyd Mayweather? Speed? Well, speed doesn't do it. If you're going to beat Floyd Mayweather, it's going to be on boxing IQ. Let's look at the guys that fought Floyd Mayweather. It's boxing IQ, boxing intelligence. You know, guys who've got a puncher's chance. Well, against a technician like Floyd, well, you could say Shane Mosley had a puncher's chance. And you saw what he did to Shane Mosley. But apart from that one punch Shane Mosley landed, after that round, what else did Shane Mosley do in the fight? He landed 2 good punches. They rocked Mayweather, but what else? You know, Cotto was meant to have a puncher's chance. Canelo had a puncher's chance. So now Amir Khan, the Pacquiao had a puncher's chance. So what has Amir Khan got that those guys haven't? Speed? Well, I'll give you Pacquiao. Power? Well, I'll give you Canelo. I'll give you Pacquiao. I'll give you Cotto. I mean, I just mentioned 3 guys there that hit harder than Khan. So I don't understand it. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't compute. So that fight has to happen. So I moved it out of the way. Another fight that has to happen: Scott Quigg and Carl Frampton. Another one of these in your backyard. Sort your shit out in your backyard first before you start jumping onto world scenes. I think people like Frampton and Quigg dust up, clean up. The best fighter goes forward. We saw this in the middleweight division. We had Andy Lee, Matthew Macklin, Darren Barker, Martin Murray. Now, out of those 4 guys, if I missed somebody else out, then let me know. Out of those 4 guys, Lee went and won a world title. Barker went and won a world title. But none of those 4 guys faced one another. So now you've got Lee fighting Billy Joe Saunders. Whatever. Okay. I'm not knocking that fight. I'm just saying. Okay. What else needs to happen? What other fights need to happen? Yeah. Miguel Cotto against Canelo. Let me be honest with you here. This fight, in my opinion, could have been fought. You know what I'd like to happen? I know boxing fans won't like it. Either Miguel Cotto vacates the middleweight title, which he won't do because he wants to be the A side, and fights Canelo at light middleweight. So then you can't see. Then you don't have to say we're not middleweights. Well, if you're not a middleweight, vacate the middleweight title and let a genuine middleweight fight for it, and go and fight Canelo a light middleweight. But you're not going to do that. Why? Because you want to be the A side. So you're going to try and drain Canelo at light middleweight. I don't understand it. This draining business, I don't get it. Oh, well, Pacquiao did it to Cotto, so Cotto's doing it to everyone else. You know what? Again, that's another guy. Miguel Cotto, as middleweight, has done absolutely nothing at middleweight. Like I said, I've said this before. He fought Marquez. Well, you might as well just not Marquez. Not Marquez. What's the guy's name? Oh man, Maravilla. Sergio Martinez. Sorry, Martinez may as well have been in a wheelchair and wheeled to the ring. That's how bad Martinez was. I felt sorry for Martinez that night. Shows the fighting heart of the man. The man clearly was not fit to fight. I don't even know how he was able to get in the ring and fight. Just his fighting heart kept him in the fight. But you know, Canelo won that. He fought Daniel Gill, who was weight drained, and you know, was raving about that performance. But the other thing, I think people are too quick. A guy knocks a guy out who's okay, and there's all these raving about it. Oh, he's brilliant. He's fantastic. He's great. He's just put it into perspective. He beat a guy who looked like a skeleton in the ring, which was Gill, and he Gill up, right? If he did it against Gennady, then I'll say, yeah, that's better. Or if he did it against Canelo, I'd say, okay, good. That's a good performance. You know, but I like you people who you're fighting. Let's see their track history. Let's see what they've done before they get in the ring with you. But the fight before that, if I'm right, Gill got stopped by Gennady Golovkin. Okay. And then if I'm right as well, then I'm sure he fought Darren Barker and got beat by Darren Barker. So, you know, the form guide wasn't great for Danny Gill. So it is what it is. I've got people in the room. I wasn't expecting to have any viewers in the room, to be honest. Really honestly, I'm not being funny. I didn't expect anyone to be in the room. So let me check and see who's in the room. It's really to notice people in the room. Let's see if there's anyone talking in the room. Because it would be very rude if I didn't acknowledge anybody. Let's have a look and see if there's anybody in the room. There's people watching, but nobody's saying anything. That's cool. Well, at least I haven't been rude to anyone. So there's 3 people watching anyway. Good evening to those people that are watching. Where was I? Yeah, Cotto. So I hope Canelo, and I hear the fight is sealed, signed and sealed. I hope but see that messes things up, because is Canelo ready to step up to middleweight? I don't think he's ready for middleweight division yet. For me personally, I don't. But I'd like to see him clean up and dominate the light middleweight division. I really would for Canelo. For Cotto, I just want him to retire. I really do. I don't. I recognize it. I recognize him as a very good welterweight. He was a average light middleweight, and as a fraud of a middleweight, as a light middleweight, he was okay. I remember the fight he had against Austin Trout, which I told people that Trout would beat him. People was like, no, Miguel Cotto. I mean, he's fought some of the best fighters in the world. How many of the best fighters in the world he's beaten? Well, that's debatable about Miguel Cotto. Yeah, he's fought some good guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Miguel Cotto's not a good fighter here, but who he's beaten again is debatable at the highest level. The highest level. So those are my thoughts there. Things that need to happen in boxing. Now, something else I was going to mention as well. Yeah, certain fighters need to retire. Honestly, Roy Jones Jr. 1, Bernard Hopkins 2, and Carl Froch 3. So yeah, Froch should fight. Guy hasn't fought for a year and a bit, or a year, and he wants to come back and fight a fresh, healthy, dangerous Gennady Golovkin. Really? Honestly? Oh yeah, give Gennady a great fight. But I said it to Abel Sanchez. What do you prove beating an old man in Froch, which Froch is? I don't want to see that. He's oh yeah, Froch has got a few years left in his career. I don't think so. I personally would like to see the man retire. Retire on the fact that you knocked out George Groves. Retire with that and leave that there. I don't want to see the image of a Froch being pulled out of a man that's once a fighter starts talking about retirement. Once a man starts talking about retirement, he's got to foot out the door. So then, you can get him psyched up and he can do all the talking before the fight. When he gets down in the ring and he's got to fight at Wembley and he finds out maybe that Gennady does carry the power up to super middleweight and he finds himself in trouble at super middleweight because, who knows? Nobody knows what power Gennady has at super middleweight. What I do know is that, big super middleweights are sparring with him. He's hurting them. So I know that as a fact. So I wouldn't be so confident Froch in he's a small middleweight, so therefore if he moves up then I'll be able to batter him. I don't see it that way. I really don't. And because he's small at weight doesn't mean he can't punch. And if there were any warning signs about the Froch coming to the end of his career, the way George Groves put him down in that first round, in that first fight, and then even in the second fight, he didn't look great in the second fight. He looked okay. But I don't want to see that fight. So Hopkins, you've got nothing else to prove. Retire, mate. Roy Jones, now you're just tarnishing your legacy, man. Retire. And Froch, just retire, man. Retire and just be a pundit. Things that need to happen in 2015. Heavyweight division. Tyson Fury needs to fight Vladimir Klitschko. Why? Because we need to find out finally whether this man is the genuine goods or he's something else. Fight fans around the world want to know, have we got the next heavy? When he's talking, are we seeing the next heavyweight champion of the world? Or are we just seeing another contender? That's another thing. Another thing I hope happens in 2015 is that guys such as Parker and Joshua get tested. I really do, because a lot of people give David Price a lot of flack, right, for getting beat by Tony Thompson. But Tony Thompson's not a bum, right? Tony Thompson was ranked number 2 in the world at one point, or he was in the top 5 of most governing bodies. So he's not a bum, and he's not somebody that people run out and say, I want to fight Tony Thompson. It's not one of those guys that people automatically call out and say they want to fight, because they know he's awkward, they know he's difficult, and then he gets beat by the best. So for me, I think it's a bit harsh, and I don't, and again, stylistically, I don't. It was a southpaw. It was a tricky, wily old southpaw that could box, that could take a shot, and it could hit back. It was bad management on the part of Frank Maloney. Bad management, and it was even worse management to send him back in there afterwards. The idea was great, because if Price had beaten Tony Thompson, whoa, everyone would be on the bandwagon. We've got the next coming. Now he's chinny and he can't take a shot and stuff. So what's happening now with David Price is what should happen to most fighters. He's learning his trade. Too often, way too often, as happening now, is a lot of fighters are getting padded records, and their main test comes when they're fighting for a world title, rather than doing it the old-fashioned way, which is to have learning fights. What happened to those learning 10-round fights where you fought a guy that would take you to 10 rounds, that may give you a bit of trouble, that would test your chin, test your stamina to find out how good you were? What happened to those days? Why? What is it? I mean, how much do highlight reels do for us? It looks great when you're knocking out Billy Nobody, but when you're actually fighting guys of caliber, eventually you're gonna have to fight somebody of caliber. Instead of raising the hopes of fans, promoters, be a bit more responsible about what you're saying. Oh, he's definitely he's world class. He's number 2 in the world. Yeah, he deserves to be ranked. I mean, come on. I mean, honestly, I mean, people who are in the game long enough understand. Listen, you're pulling the wool over our eyes. You're telling porkies to us. But to the average fight fan who's building his hopes up, who is believing that this guy who's got a record of 15-0, who really hasn't fought anybody of note, knocked a few guys out, looked good on the highlight reels. What I mean by highlight is you can watch YouTube and you can watch him just bowling people over in the first and second round, and you think, because you see them knock over this person at that level, that translates to, if he does it at this level, he can do it at that level. But see, what happens is, as you move up in ranking and you move up against different fighters, there are guys who are able to take your best punch, as you've seen before, take your best punch, avoid some of your best punches, counter your punches, and hit you back hard. See, and what happens is, where the way these promoters are working to keep people unbeaten, rather than trying to, instead of making belt holders, creating champions, there's a difference between being a belt holder and a champion. A belt holder will pick up a belt today and lose a belt tomorrow. A champion is a person that will hold on to the belt for a period of time, that can hold on to the belt for a period of time, because they've got the skills to do that. And even when they get beat, can come back and win a title again to prove that they're thereabouts. So how can we, I don't, not we, there are just boxing fans, I wouldn't call them boxing fans, fanatics, that see somebody knock out, like I said before, knock out Billy Nobody, right? And Billy never was, and Billy never could have been. And somehow that relates to, you do this here, let's stick you in against the best fighter in the world, who has proven class, who has proven quality, who has taken punches in a big fight, who has come back from difficult moments. These guys have proven themselves. So I'm a little bit concerned with the amount of fight fans out there that are quite happy to support prospects and saying a prospect as a champion without actually going through the prospect challenger route. You know, what happened to a guy fighting his way up the rankings? Oh no, we don't want that. Get the number 2 ranking, get a final eliminate and fight for the world title. And even if you win a world title, you're skipping and ducking and diving because you're not good enough at that level to fight whoever's coming up next, your number 1 contender. So you're ducking and diving, and then having to fight fights that boxing fans don't want to see you in, fighting against guys who knock him out in 1 or 2 rounds. So you as a fan now have to sit down and watch these crap fights because your man who's at the top of the division isn't good enough. That's what happens. So then you've got 3, 4, 5 fights of him fighting people that you and I know. Oh, but he's great. Until he meets somebody who can clout him back. And then they get exposed. And then when they get exposed, you jump off of them and you jump onto somebody else instead. Not good. Things that need to happen in 2015. Lucas Browne needs to fight. He needs to be fighting. He needs to be off Twitter. No disrespect to Lucas Browne, nice guy. He needs to be in and fighting somebody of note in 2015. Things that have to happen in 2015. Fight fans say no to catchweight fights, especially if they're for titles. If they're like for mythical matchups or for non-title bouts or fantasy matchups, fine. I don't mind. That's cool. But when there's a world title on the line, fight at the given weight. If you're a middleweight, fight at middleweight. If you're a heavyweight, well, you're not heavyweight. If you're a welterweight, fight at welterweight. Things that need to happen in 2015. Pay-per-view. I think pay-per-view is a mockery. It's been made a mockery of. If you think about, if you've been watching boxing long enough, if you think about pay-per-view events back in the day, they meant something. They meant something of some quality or some substance. You used to have pay-per-view to watch, if you were sitting down to watch Tyson versus Holyfield, that was a pay-per-view event. It meant something to sit up and watch Holyfield v Tyson, and you could watch a backstory of how both guys became champions and why these two should meet. Pay-per-view event. Kell Brook and Frankie Gavin is not a pay-per-view event. I don't care what you tell me, it is not a pay-per-view event. But it was a pay-per-view event because boxing fans were prepared to say thumbs up. Okay? And so what that happens is that you thumbs up to this. So that means that it's okay. The fans will buy it. That means we'll get more garbage pay-per-view events. Garbage, I said it. Garbage pay-per-view events. If you've been around the time where there are some standards, like I said, if you're around watching Holyfield Tyson, or you even go back, even further back, pay-per-view events where it matters. I think there should be a ruling about pay-per-view events, and I think there should be some sort of, I don't know how we'd monitor it, but you could say a standard that would say that's a pay-per-view event that we could actually, that boxing fans could say like a 3 or 4 stars, like in BoxRec they have a 1-star or 2-star, 3-star rating for whether that is a big event or not. Well, I think that they should do with pay-per-view. Absolutely, pay-per-view events should be standardized. There should be some way of saying that's pay-per-view. And on the pay-per-view event, there needs to have at least like somebody who's been a world champion for a long period of time, who's got a decorated record or a record of maybe winning multiple like Mayweather is worthy of pay-per-view. Pacquiao is worthy of pay-per-view. Kovalev, Stevenson, pay-per-view event. Yeah, so there's a few fights there that I think are pay-per-view. So that needs to happen. 2015, more reporting from the YouTube community about and educating boxing fans about promoters talking crap. This is something that is absolutely, it has to happen. YouTube community needs to stand up and say, you know what? When a promoter says something that's absolutely, you could see the crap right through it, we need to pull them up. We say, listen, this is not on. You need to have people who are not just going to promoters and just talking to them and saying to them, oh, so you know, tell us about this event. No, tell us, explain to us why you've put on poor shows. Explain to us why you think this person is ranked so highly. Explain to us why you think that this person deserves a final eliminator. Explain the thinking about this. Explain to me why, you know, your guys fought a handful of fights against nobody, and then you're going to stick him in the lion's den. Do you actually care about your fighter, or is just another body? Something to think about, something to consider. There's a lot of blind spot reporting in boxing where people will not talk about the things that matter, and will talk about the things that makes everyone happy or comfortable. So it's interesting that stuff like this needs to be reported. 2015. I'm saying it because I've done it. There needs to be more crossovers. There needs to be more shows, boxing shows, where people are crossing over or invite people onto the shows. It needs to happen. It will build a better YouTube community, and people around in the boxing community will know who's who and who does what. And there's not this sort of snobbery, whereas I'm this, I'm too good for you, you can't be on my show. That kind of stuff. I don't give a monkeys. Personally, I don't care, because for me, anybody who knows me knows that I'm not just stuck in the boxing community. So it's nice when I get compliments, but you know what? The boxing community is not my be all and end all. I think, you know, I love boxing, but I can't do that it's my life, because it isn't. And to those people who make boxing as their life, in terms of they're out every day out there doing the work, shout out to them. They're doing some great work out there. But snobbery in boxing because you interview some fighters, I mean, come on, man, come on, give me a break. So I'd like to see that. Yeah, and you know, this is something I want to talk about. I'm not gonna say haters, but I'm gonna make a statement that a lot of people are not gonna like, and I don't give a damn. Listen, I'm not Box Nation. I'm not Sky Sports. I'm not ESPN, and I'm not some big corporate professional organization. Unless you're willing to contribute, get me in a studio and pay my wages. B, contribute and produce for better equipment. B, or C, fly me out to America. Shut the hell up, because I do what I can to get you interviews. I do what I can to get you the best that I can at times. Now, if I'm on the phone with somebody and in the middle of the phone call, you know, it's crackling, or it's not clear, or it's not as clear, or it doesn't come through as clear as I'd like it to be, I have a choice. I could say A, screw it, because Bill and Bob, nobody doesn't want to hear it because it might not be crystal clear. Or I say B, you know what, I'm going to try and make this as clear as it possibly can be, so that you can get to hear stuff that you probably wouldn't get to hear before. Choice I've got to make. So by and large, most people listen to the shows, listen to the interviews, and enjoy it. But you've always got the odd person in there that's always got something to moan about, something to complain about. Oh, I couldn't hear the person, or I couldn't this, or I couldn't that, blah 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 blah. And then you go and see what they've done. 0 subscribers, 0 views, and what they're doing, they're bitching on everybody else's station. But let's see you do an interview. Let's see you do a telephone call. Let's see you ask the hard questions. Let's see you do some work. So listen, unless you yourself can do something constructive, I don't listen. And don't come chatting to me if you've got no subscribers and no views. Don't you, because you ain't got a baseline to start from. Because if you want me to do better, Let me see what you do. Yeah, there are a lot of people out there that do better stuff than I do, and good luck to them. They put the hard work in and they've got the time to do that. But I just give you what I can when I can. So, and you know, another thing I cannot understand about people in the boxing community, just the boxing community, I don't understand that you dislike videos. You click the dislike button. You click the dislike button. If you dislike it so much, what the hell are you on my channel for? Are you so thick that if you don't like something, you just there to press the dislike button? Man, some people have got no life whatsoever. Absolutely no life. So, you know, and it's like they leave these comments like and because I'm mentally very strong as a character, I don't take it in, but I'm talking about it because there are people out there that take it that take it to heart. People get upset. I've known people within the YouTube community that are doing excellent work that have been deterred, that have been upset, and obviously destroyed by the comments that are on YouTube, right? But you know what I do? Very simple. If I see you on my channel talking shit, I block you. That's it. Save my Twitter. You start chatting shit on my Twitter, I'll block you. I ain't got time to, because me and you have no relationship. I don't come and abuse you. I don't come on your channel abusing you, talking shit. I don't expect you to come and do it to me. But if you do it, if it's constructive, there's a difference. I don't want constructive stuff. If I, like, for example, we could disagree on something. I could say to you, I don't think this guy's going to win a fight because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. And then you come back and say to me, but you know what, Ingram? These are the reasons why I think this guy can win the fight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's fine. That's a conversation. That's a discussion. If you come on my station and you say to you, oh, he's shit, or you don't know chatting, you don't know nothing about boxing. I mean, like, so when did you become the mouthpiece for boxing? And here's another thing. We've got all these YouTube community people in the YouTube community. Has anyone got an interview with Al Haymon yet? There's so many spokespeople for Al Haymon. It's unbelievable. Everybody's got an idea what Al Haymon said this, Al Haymon said that, Al Haymon said this. The amount of fighters I've spoken to, right, that have never met Al Haymon, and these are fighters, and they've never met Al Haymon. Yet we've got people in the YouTube community in boxing that talk about Al Haymon like they know him, like they've got a special relationship with Al Haymon. I'll tell you, well, Al Haymon's this, and Al Haymon's that, and Al Haymon's this. Hey, me, I don't know. Oh, listen, boxing, as far as I'm concerned, is a crooked sport. That's it. Straight, and I've said to you, it's a crooked sport. And the only thing I'm expecting now, the two things I'm expecting to happen is an Al Haymon Super 6 tournament. I expect to see something like that. And I also expect to see an Al Haymon world title. I really do. If you remember the IBO title at first, nobody kind of recognized that. But the IBO title, kind of, I think if I'm right, the Ring Magazine title, they kind of made their prestige by the fighters who were champions, something along that. So you had to be a recognized champion to be able to fight for one of those belts. So I don't know how the Haymon belt would work, but it'd be interesting. Very interesting. Let me see. If there's anybody else in the room? Oh, got people in the. Oh my God! I'm so sorry, guys. So sorry. I didn't even see you in the room, and it's like, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't expect anyone to be in the room. I'm sorry, I haven't watched. But if anyone's in the room now, I haven't watched any boxing. I am here I'm in London at the moment, and I haven't watched any boxing. I'm here for the night, and no. So there we go. Chris Jones, great insight as always, Ingram. Thank you very much, Chris. Hope you're well. Favorite vids: 1. Punch resistance is 70% gone. I agree. Thank you very much. Chris Jones says, yes, I agree. I actually thought after the first Grove fight he should retire. He took some massive shots flush in that fight. He essentially got put on his heels by a jab in that 9th round. Agreed. Chris Jones, he looked like he just couldn't react quick enough. I think his reaction time, yeah, I think so too. His reaction time is on the slide. Chris Jones, as for the second fight, I owe that more to Groves underperforming than anything else. Froch really did a side that looked sharp. Bazza Pope says, late to this, so apologies if mentioned already. What about a Hay comeback? Oh, God. I will talk about a Bazza. Good evening. Favorite vids, one says, yep, a jab rocked him and he's right for being KO'd now as he's on the slide. I hope he retires as he's a bit of a hero of mine. So I appreciate the wars he has been in, real entertainment. What's Hay added? What's Hay playing at? Something doesn't add up, Bayloric. Bayloric, man, you seriously need to declare your house. No, it's not my house. I'm just chilling here. It's not my house. I did say I'm not in my house. I honestly think Hay is keeping his name in the public eye because he's waiting for a big offer to come up. I don't think he has any intentions of working his way back up the ladder. Good point. That was Chris Jones. Favorite vid says, good point. Hay could beat Wilder, but unless he fights, he won't be a draw. A KS some bum as well to sell it. If he comes back, he's likely to come back for one big fight against AJ, and he's coming back to get paid and probably knocked out. Hayes as fat as something at the moment. Chris Jones says he's definitely a bit puffy. Some might say he's finally a real heavyweight. Bazza says, why would Hay be getting knocked out? If he comes back, it will cause he has something left. He won't fight again if he hasn't got it anymore. AJ has proved nothing so far, by the way, and that's a good point. He hasn't. If Hay is as good as he was when he last fought in 2012, he'll probably be only second to Vlad in the division. I ain't sure about that. You don't think he'll come back for a payday? I certainly do. Whether he thinks he's got something left or not, if big money is on the table, he'll fight regardless. That's okay. So the talk is about David Hay. David Hay. Well, we might as well talk about David because you all are talking about David, so I might as well talk about David. Right, let's take you back. Did I not say that he would not fight Fury? Did I not say? Right. I think I'm going to go back. Now, I don't know. I can't say for sure. But something's definitely happened with the Haymaker. I can't tell you what for sure is. Now, during the time he was sparring to fight Tyson Fury, what we do know is that he looked brilliant against Wilder in sparring. What we don't know is what really happened outside of that sparring. We don't know whether Hay was concussed by Wilder, and if so, then that would have eradicated him fighting Fury the first fight. Because if Wilder put damage and laid hands on Hay, and maybe had hurt him in sparring badly, and that was kept very quiet, then the whole thing about the Fury first cancellation, hey, I'm just saying, anything can come up. The other thing is, and I'm gonna say it, people, I'm very interested in how David Hay gets from the weight he is to the weight up he becomes a heavyweight. I'd like to know how he does that. And I'm only asking a question. I'm not suggesting anything, but I'm asking a question. 2, 3. A lot of people are stuck in 2012, and a lot of people are stuck on the, well, if he couldn't get part, if he did well against Klitschko. Can I remind you, while you're talking about David Hay, there's a man since then that's fought David Hay, which I hear none of you talking about, which is Bryant Jennings, that fought Vladimir Klitschko and threw more punches against Vladimir Klitschko and connected more punches against Vladimir Klitschko than David Hay did. David Hay could not get past the left jab, and all the skill that David Hay does have, I have to suggest to you, I have to tell you guys, that he resulted in having to throw overhand rights. That's David Haye. That's the same David Haye that you're saying is the second best heavyweight in the world. But I would disagree with you on that, because there are some other heavyweights out there that I don't think David Haye beats Bryant Jennings personally. No, I don't. I don't see it. Sorry, I don't think David Haye beats Povetkin. Sorry, because here's my argument for David Haye. David Haye is, if you look at what he's a speed merchant. He gets in, he gets out. That's the whole basis of his style. And if he can't get in range to throw shots, his whole game plan goes out the window. Just look as he was able to do it against Valuev. And remember, what he did against Valuev, Evander Holyfield did it, but better. An ancient Evander Holyfield put combinations together on the inside against Valuev. That was an ancient Evander Holyfield. Haye pipped in and out of punches. There was nothing masterful about the performance Haye put on. Go back and watch the tape. Go back and watch Holyfield's fight against Valuev, the ancient Evander Holyfield, and go back and watch David Haye. Another point. With David Haye's speed and power, right? I always have to remind you about the Derek Chisora fight. The Derek Chisora fight, which David was blowing out of his ass before Derek Chisora threw that, I don't know what he was throwing punch, and got knocked out. That fight, and he was struggling against Derek Chisora. Put it into perspective, you know, what Povetkin do. I don't know, because Haye's not going to be as fast as a heavyweight as he was in 2012. We're now 2015. He may say he hits harder, but for me, if David Haye comes back now in 2015, he's coming back to get knocked out. I'm sorry, but he is. He's not going to be any better in 2015. I know some people are deluding to believe in that, but Haye won't get any better. I know you want to see Haye. I would love to see Haye fight in America. I would love to see David Haye fight in America and doing the business in America. Would love to see a lot of boxing fans, even those who have a hatred towards David Haye at the moment, would love to see Haye back fighting in America in Las Vegas. David Haye, if you think about him, if you really think about him, he had the potential, David Haye, to be like a superstar, crossover superstar. He had the good looks, he had the power, the speed, the charisma, and a mouth on him. He could have done it. Easy. Crossover star. No problems. But something went wrong somewhere. What is preventing David Haye getting back in the ring? Surely. Well, didn't he have Haye? Didn't he have Haymaker Promotions? What happened? He's got no Adam Booth with him anymore. What happened? Let's hear what you guys are thinking. Yes, you did. I think he would have beaten Fury. Something's up. I reckon Peds. New to this, didn't realize I could chat on here. Great show. Oh, hello, Stuart. Yeah, man. I tried to get some sleep, man, but it didn't happen. I think Haye Fury would have been like when Cunningham dropped Fury, but wouldn't be getting up from that knockdown from Haye. Interesting. The toe, LOL. Haye caught Vlad with big shots in rounds 3 and 12. Right. That tells you, isn't it? I would. What I love is. What I love is I disagree with Ingram. I want to see Froch v GGG, but he will. I'll respect this because it's an opinion. Agree with everything else tonight. Oh, Stuart, you want to see Froch get beat up? Really? You want all that legacy to go down the window just for you to see GGG, and then you'll say afterwards, "I wish he never got in the ring with GGG." I don't want to see that fight. I really don't. Just for legacy. The thing is, who has Hay ever beaten done at heavyweight? Good point. Who is he beaten? What's his best win? As a heavyweight, he beat vastly overrated based on Valiev, Ruiz, Harrison, Chisora. Agreed. Thank you, Chris Jones. Yeah, Stuart Howard's the NLP guy. Guys, give him a warm welcome. He's a great dude. Chisora had gone 12 rounds with Vitali, to be fair. Yes. Derek Chisora's style is better against tall men. Derek Chisora has never been good against guys his own height. Honestly, you look at Sam Sexton. He looked awful against Sam Sexton in the first fight and the second fight. Derek Chisora never looks good because he's got that Joe Frazier style. We're trying to get in and get under the jab and get inside. He's never been, and even in that style, then he was getting hit, all the time getting hit with punches. So I don't know. Yeah, favorite says you can't come back 3 years later and be the same. He has to be slower. Fact. Yes, favorite is true, but Chisora was never in that fight, and Vitali was knocking on at 40 at the time. The same Vitali had come out of retirement a few years earlier. Good point. This one says you're right. Hay is or was all about speed and reflexes. There's nothing special about him besides that. Not a good jab, not a good combination. Listen, all the great fighters in history, study them. They all have a great left jab. David Hay's not got a great left jab. David Hay, they know what a jab is. The jab he probably knows is where he goes to the doctors. No jab. Where have you heard somebody say David Hay's dominating his fight behind a jab? What jab? It's hooks and uppercuts. And that overhand right, he looks like a fast bowler. That's it. That's what it is. They don't dominate behind no left jab. Lewis dominates behind the left jab. Holmes behind the left jab. Ali behind the left jab. Bow behind the left jab. Man, this guy's got no inside game either. He just stays on the outside. Sniper can only fight one way. Hay can only fight one way in fights. Remember this. So he's limited what he can do. Can't see Hay beating many people in his current state. No, I can't. Peekaboo style. Yeah, that's it. Haha, I think it will be a 12-round brawl. Ingram, my friend, I think you're right, though. GGG wins this babysitting like is easier. Baylor, who is the most exciting young boxer you think are around at the moment? It's great to follow boxers over a long career. Exciting? Well, I said to you guys a long time ago when I first interviewed Keith Thurman after he fought Carlos Quintana, I said, you know what? That guy's exciting. Put him down. I called out Kovalev. I said to you before Kovalev was going to fight, cleverly I said, this guy you can watch out for. He's dangerous. Carl Frampton, I think he's very exciting. I like him. Very exciting fighter. The Axeman, Nicholas Walters, exciting. Love him. Oh, there's so many fighters. So many fighters. Oh gosh, there's so many fighters. I got the most exciting. Well, the most exciting for me. Oh, I've got to get shout out to BY. But the most exciting fight for me is Keith Thurman. Keith one-time Thurman. Most exciting. But you know, he's gonna have to KO Collazo, because if he doesn't knock out Collazo, and you have to ask yourself the question, boxing fans, about Keith Thurman. Since the injury he's had with his shoulder, is he putting as much power in the punches, or has he met his level of punching power? That's the question. And I'm a Thurman fan, and I'm asking you that question. History tells us that coming back off a long layoff in your 30s doesn't bode well. Very few exceptions to that rule. David Hay, please retire. Don't know where he goes from here. Lost to Klitschko, Fury fiasco, leaves Wilder, who will KO Hay, retirement time. Foreman did okay, yeah. But, Bazza, here's my point. Foreman wasn't reliant on speed. Foreman was a plodder. He plodded then, he plods now. You can't compare Foreman to David Hay. Foreman is probably, arguably, the biggest puncher in boxing history. Arguably between him and some people say Ernie Shavers. Well, between Shavers and Foreman, two of the biggest punchers in boxing history, period, right? So that's the first thing. Secondly, George Foreman had a great jab. David Hay's not got a great jab. Number 3, George Foreman has a great chin. I don't know about David Hayes' chin as a heavyweight. Do I continue? George Foreman fought legends as a heavyweight, and he could come back. I couldn't tell you that David Hayes fought any legends. Yeah, the Dax, man, check him out. Yeah. Vitali was way. Yeah, Vitali was finished, man. And Vitali, it tells you a man at 40 plus can still keep going. But Vitali is a good fighter. But I tell you something, if Lennox Lewis, prime Lennox Lewis had fought Vitali, he would have destroyed Vitali. You think to yourself, Lennox Lewis was out of shape. You saw Lennox Lewis when he fought Hasim Rahman when he was out of shape. And you see Lennox Lewis when he fought Hasim Rahman when he was in shape. Lennox Lewis would have destroyed Vitali Klitschko. I'm sorry. Vitali can't fight on the inside. Lennox would have got on the inside, let them uppercuts go. And once you're fit, when you're fit, your punches have more snap. When you're fit, your reflexes are better. And when you're fit, you throw more with more confidence. Lewis was not prepared. He was very underprepared for that fight. So, Hay may still have power, but I think he may not have that speed. He may. Hay's not fast. Hay's not fast. Look, Holyfield is fast, right? Why I talk about fastest? Look at what Valuev did to Holyfield, or Holyfield did to Valuev. Holyfield got in, went 3, 4, 5 punch combination, got out. Go back and watch Evander Holyfield when he fought George Foreman. I've never seen Hay put a combination together as fast as that. Hay was a fast cruiserweight, but an average heavyweight. You know, I tell you, if I wouldn't mind seeing David Hay versus Huck at heavyweight. I wouldn't mind watching that fight. Right. Exactly. Lewis showed he could fight on the inside against a massive puncher in Ray Mercer. Would have broken Vitali down. Oh, he would have done. He would have done. He would have been whipping him uppercuts in. Listen, he would have stopped Vitali. Sorry. He would have stopped. But I know a lot of people. Listen, I love Vitali Klitschko, and I think he definitely goes down as one of the, he's got to be in that ranking. All-time great. I mean, size and his jab. He had a very good jab, and his right hand. And I'm talking about early Vitali Klitschko, who's knocking people out. That Vitali Klitschko would have given most heavyweights a lot of problems just because of size and range. But anybody can get inside of Vitali, but in problems, real problems for him. So, So, when you get a moment, guys, check out an interview I did with Lloyd Carter. Please check that interview out. He's a WWF. He's an MMA fighter who wants to get into UFC. I think he's Impact champion. He's got a few other belts. But it's the first MMA fighter, but he has a lot of views about boxing. Very interesting guy. Check out that interview. I do try to get you the interviews what I can. Because sorry, Ingram, not selling on your show. My Twitter I won't talk business on here as I Ingram too much off his show. No, mate, go ahead. Feel free. That's what it's about. It's about networking. It's all about networking. So you go ahead, mate. You make them connections. Just send me over my 10% afterwards. But yeah. I want to take this moment also to give a shout out to a man who's doing some very good things in boxing. I sat down and watched. I sat down and watched him tonight. Jay Cotto. I do post in his wall. I do post in come back to boxing. I do a lot of stuff. I watch a lot of his stuff, and I start watching a lot of his stuff, and really impressed with Jay Cotto. And man, I would love to do a crossover with you. So this is my shout out and my call out to Jay Cotto. Would love to do a crossover video of you. I think that you're talk a lot of sense, man, and you've got a lot of personality. And I like guys who've got personality and talk a lot of sense, and Would love to sit down and have a conversation with you about boxing, a bit more about what you do. You know, it'd be great too. So I'm sure somebody's going to tell somebody to tell you, but I'll post it on your wall anyway. Doing a great work, man. Keep it up. Keep them rhythm going, and love what you do, man. Keep it up. Keep going. I've got ultimate respect for you. What do I think of Vlad versus? Is it 50-50? I don't know, man. Two questions you've got to ask yourself. Tyson Fury's been around a while now. We still don't know whether the man really is. We still don't know whether Tyson Fury really is the finished article. He's on the verge of a world title shot. Well, he's got Klitschko next. And when was the last time he fought? Against Christian Hammer. Now, I don't know if Klitschko's trying to draw this out. I don't know whether Klitschko's trying to draw this out now and think, you know what? I know this guy, this Tyson Fury guy, you know, he's not always in the best of shape. Play the old mind games. Pull the fight out a little later. Make him think we're not really going to fight. Mess him up like that. Tyson's pretty strong mentally, but I don't know whether he's trying to. I don't know what Klitschko's doing. I don't know, because the rumors were it was going to be in September. I heard rumors about it being in China, so who knows? And Eddie Hearn's jumping in now saying he wants to do something about it. Listen, no disrespect, yeah, but I can't take Eddie Hearn seriously. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love him, and a lot of people sit down and listen to what he's got to say. I know a lot of people love the guy's personality and his charisma, but don't take boxing fans for fools. Please don't take them for fools. Callum Smith, #2 in the world. Callum Smith. Are you trying to tell me Callum Smith can beat Andre Dirrell? Are you trying to tell me Callum Smith can beat Mika Kessler? Are you telling me Callum Smith can beat Sakia Bika even now? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I think personally, Rocky Fielding looked more impressive against Brian Vera. And for me, if you're going to put Rocky Fielding versus Callum Smith, I'm putting my money on Rocky Fielding, because that guy can punch. That guy can punch. And I don't know if Callum Smith has actually fought a puncher yet, a proper puncher yet. But I know Rocky Fielding can punch. I'm going that boy, man. That guy there, I think he can do something in the super. Once you can crack like he can do things in the super division for real. Frags EU says, I'm here, brother. Sorry I'm late. Stuart Howe says, Ingram, you're a legend. I'll be coming to Ireland to see you. One thing, you're true and genuine. Nice to have. Excellent, man. I'm looking forward to welcoming you over to Ireland. His favorite says, suck up time. Really find your stuff good, Ingram. Very knowledgeable and entertaining. Rare to find in-depth discussion about the sport. I do what I can, and thank you very much. Sports media says Klitschko will cancel at least once. Well, that's a possibility. The Klitschko will cancel, and if he does, well, it's all tactics, isn't it? Mind games. Tyson's not of the skill to beat Vlad, but needs to tuck that chin in and not get pissed. 8. Yeah, we'll see. I think everyone's did it with Pulev. Yeah, he did. Well said, 4C Sports Media. Hello, 4C Sports Media. If you haven't seen my interview of Sports Media, 4C Sports Media, tongue, check him out. Check out his work, doing some excellent work as well. I think Vlad will beat Fury in a similar fashion to how he beat Pulev, just my opinion. Similar fashion, I don't know. Pulev was vulnerable to the left hook. You've got to see, well, let's look at Fury. Where would he be vulnerable? Just got to see what he does against a tall, big man. That's very good. What's your thoughts on Andre Ward in the general? I don't understand why he all say he's boring. It's a masterclass watching technical. Andre Ward reminds me of Floyd Mayweather before he fought Oscar De La Hoya. People didn't care much for Mayweather. Only true boxing fans cared for Mayweather. It was after the Oscar De La Hoya fight he blew up. Andre Ward had that moment, which was calf rotch, and he sort of should have really taken off, but he didn't. And Andre Ward needs another one of those fights, and one of those fights would be Kovalev, Stevenson, Gennady Golovkin. He needs a fight that's going to transmit over the world. He needs one of those fights that are going to globally. He needs one of those fights that are going to make him a global name again. Paul Smith was nice, but he needs a fight that's really going to capture the imagination. That's what Andre Ward needs. You see, the thing about Ward is that's science, and a lot of guys that watch Ward don't appreciate the art of boxing, which is hit and not get hit. They don't appreciate Ward because he doesn't just come. You watch Andre Ward, he can fight different ways. He can fight different styles. That's a complete boxer. Yeah, and listen, guys, you have to look at fighters for what they are and not what we want them to be. It took GGG 11 rounds to get rid of Martin Murray, okay? And Martin Murray, bless his soul, he's just unfortunate. He's just unfortunate against Martinez, and fortunate against, was it Sturm? But I tell you something, the way I see things going, should George Groves beat Badou Jack? Was Badou Jack? Yeah. Should he beat Badou Jack on, I think it's August 22nd in Las Vegas? Should he beat Badou Jack? I can see Eddie Hearn pushing Martin Murray up there for his first title defense. I don't see Martin Murray fighting James DeGale, but I see him fighting George Groves, and that would be Martin Murray's best chance of winning a world title at the at that weight division. Yeah. So GGG beats Frock. Yeah, I think he does. I think he does. Right, guys, I have to come to an end because I have a plane to go and catch. So, as I say, thank you so much for your support. It was a video I was meant to do, but I wasn't expecting nobody to watch the video tonight. We'll be watching the Irish show of Box Nation tonight, so I just thought I'd come on sneaky, do a live show because I just can't be bothered to upload, and this uploads for itself. So shout out to everybody in the room. Really appreciate you guys. Also, before I disappear, check out a website. It's called Way More Love. That's a new radio show that myself, my wife, and a big time guy, his name is Relentless Aaron. For you guys that are in the States, check it out. It's a great show. I'm on there it's relationships and love and stuff like that. And yeah, check out some big stuff there. Big stuff. No problems, Stuart. Appreciated. Thank you all, guys. I think this is my lot. I need to get some sleep. I've got to be out early in the morning. Take care and keep your guard up. I'm out.